The picture I wanted to start out talking about is this one. To me, in my eyes, this represents decision making, and you could probably see why because she's standing in a corner and basically seems like she's trying to make a hard decision. Now, it could be ethical behavior or ethical thought, as you can see down at the bottom, but to me, it really just shows decision making and that she knows she has a tough decision to make, and now she's actually giving it the right time to try to think about it. In our chapter, we did talk about ethics and decision making, and this is a very important management, management role that you must go through every day as being a manager. So I believe she's just sitting there and she's thinking and trying to just come up with the best idea. Now, my second picture is this one right here. This one shows me a manager trying to be a coach and also just a good co-worker. Because although managers are coaches, they also have to become good co-worker on the lower level, I believe. And that's when you can actually have people that works for you that actually will go to bat for you and not want to fail. So this picture just portrays to me because I've been through a situation like this that shows my manager coaching me to the manager I am today, especially when I am in the military overseas. I had plenty of mentors, but one that stood out was my lieutenant. I messed up before in the military, so it took me aside. He just coached me on the right things to do and how to go about it. And it really had a great impact on me because ultimately I never made that mistake again. And he threw me back out there to show me that it's okay to mess up, but you got to just keep going and fighting and never give up. And then he showed me the right way, the ways I should have been doing it the whole time. And therefore I learned from my mistakes. So this picture has a lot, actually, that I really like and that I took from this. Now this picture portrays ethics to a T with me. I mean, not just in the management world, but we all go through this in life, I believe. Good versus evil. Which way should I go, left or right? Every decision is important because every decision does have an outcome. And no matter what, you have to live with that decision. So this picture right here is what a lot of managers go through, especially ethics wise, because if you don't do something right and people do catch on, it's going to change the whole culture of the business. And then furthermore, it's going to change the way that people look at you and how you're viewed. So to have good ethics and then portray that in your management style would better, suit you in the long run. And ultimately, you get to keep your job because you have a lot of people that look up to you and think you're an upstanding person. Now, this picture shows a manager as an architect, which is funny because he really is an architect in this picture. But he's pointing out he's giving out duties that I can see to other employees to tell them what to do, how to build a successful, company, not just literal in every sense of the word being an architect, but he's showing the people how to, just go about doing things in the right way, I believe. And this picture does stand out to me because, again, me being in the military, I was a builder. So we did have a person who was the architect and pointed out all the things that we needed to do. So it really actually hits home because everybody needs a job to do in order for the job to get done. And everybody actually has to do that job. So this really does hit home big time. And I really like this picture. And this picture shows me a manager as a teacher. Now this is huge because not only is the manager guiding, the manager is also teaching the person specific job details that they do need to know in order to be successful. And then with the lower level employee being successful, then that can make the manager be even more successful in his own role. Because managers do manage, but they do have a big responsibility of teaching. And this picture perfectly displays this as the woman, it looks like, is going to help for the needy help from the man, to give her some pointers on how to actually do something and teach her how to do a specific role. Or the picture, depending on how you see it, can be vice versa. But that's just how I see it. And this really does hit home because I've been many a time I have been a manager and also a teacher. Because it's anybody, a lot of people can manage, but a lot of people can't teach. And that's what I take from this. And this is very important. Now, this is another picture, my sixth picture. Now, this may be beating a dead horse, but this is also shows me a manager or a teacher as a manager, or just a teacher teaching, and this is very important. He's standing there showing the kids actually how to do it and how to, get it right. And then next time they won't have to stand there. He won't have to stand there, because he taught him how to do a task that they didn't know how to do. Now they can complete it on their own afterwards. It's just like leading a horse to water. Yeah, you can lead them, but you can't make them drink. And that's perfect teaching. Now this picture shows me. This picture is of Gandhi, and it shows me more of an inspirational leader. You know, he was a manager also. He was a manager of inspiration and passive. He was a very passive leader. And he shows you just it didn't take always violence to try to, move a nation, but instead, just be passive and be ethically good, and you can also move people. And I really like this because I actually look up to Gandhi. It's funny because I'm in the military, but it doesn't mean that I'm still not a passive leader when I am, delegating things in the military when I'm doing my job. So I really like this picture. It really shows a lot of a inspirational leader. Now this picture shows me another thing, an inspirational speaker. And I picked this one because it shows the microphone. And the microphone is going to project what the person is saying. And this has a big, impact on, what people hear. Your words are very powerful, so you need to choose them wisely. So when when people are speaking inspirationally, it really does move people because they are looking for guidance. They are looking for, a leader. And being an inspirational speaker, they really provide that to people who need it, especially in the business world. They can provide it, or even emotionally, people can provide it. But it's just like a psychiatrist. They tell you what you should do and shouldn't do. But it's still inspirational to them. Now this picture shows me the also decision making, success or failure. So, because a lot of decisions, when it comes down to it, it has very big implications, or they wouldn't be a decision. They'd just be more of a reaction, which we do off impulse a lot of times. But this is very big in business world, and that's why I chose this picture, because ultimately a decision would mold the course of your life a lot of time. Well, sometimes. But when looking at this picture, it's a huge leadership role because making the right decision as a leader would take a business either up or down. So that is why I definitely chose this as one of the pictures that I had to include. Now this picture shows me a manager that is trying to solve conflict between each of themselves. Now this is really big in the management world because conflict resolution is huge. You never want to take another person's side and make them feel like you're on the other person's side instead of theirs. So there's a lot of things that you can do and should do. And right now he's tugging on this rope, trying to get him to, be on his side and probably just see things his way. But ultimately he could be doing the wrong thing or he could be doing the right thing. But what I see in this picture is a conflict that needs resolved. And there's many ways that you can probably resolve it depending on the problem. So I really like this picture, and that definitely why I had to include it in my 10 photos. So this was the end of my 10 photos for my photo essay, and I think every photo did have an implication on management and leadership roles. And some of them repeated because they were very important to me, and some of them didn't. But ethics and decision making are very important to me, and I think that I know that is what will help mold a company if you get those things right. So thank you. This is Michael Campbell again, and thank you for attending my photo essay.